What up, boys, and welcome back to yet another video. So I recently did a video where I talked a bit about the main points on why people are struggling to make gold, even though they're doing the same farms as the rest of us. And I was asking you guys to leave like suggestions on new content that I could feature on the channel in forms of questions. Like if you had anything you were worrying about, wondering about, just leave it down below in the comment section. And obviously the same thing goes for every video in general, this one as well. If you got a question that you think I should feature in a video, please leave it down below. And today's question is the following from Nathan. Hey student, could you tell me the 5 most efficient dungeons to farm transmog nowadays? Thanks a lot. And it is a super common question. Like, I get this question constantly when I'm live streaming on Twitch TV. And if this is the sort of questions and more that you guys are interested in knowing about, then make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and you will be notified whenever I upload a video like this one. So, the most efficient really depends on how you look at efficiency. I'm guessing he's not talking about how you can efficiently run the dungeon, like the fastest dungeons to run. Efficiency for me is basically what are the best 5 dungeons for transmog. Now, the short answer to that is basically, since we're dealing with transmog, you got to do them all, right? So if you want to make gold running dungeons, you got to do all of them. But then if you had to shorten that list down to like which 5 should you start by doing because they're really good in, well, a lot of different ways, and if I had to rank them, that's pretty much what this video is going to be about, me ranking the top 5 dungeons that I think you really got to nail out fast, and you should see good results on them fast, because there's dungeons that you're farming for like a set of 5-6 items, and that's it. If you don't get those items, it's a bust. And then there's items where you can get 50 different items that's worth selling. So all of these dungeons are good in different ways, which I will talk about in this video. I do, however, want to mention that you guys can still get the 0 to 10 million gold guide. It's basically a gold guide that I started making almost 2 years ago, and I'm giving free updates for life to anyone that buys the gold guide. So when Dragonflight comes out, you get the free copy of the Dragonlight version like sent directly to your mail. And this book goes through like which dungeons, which transmog crafts, and all of that. But first and most importantly in the book, it's going to tell you how to make millions of gold, literally, before you even touch transmog, because that's very important. So make sure to check it out using the link down below, and don't forget to type in the discount code Shadowlands for 50% off. So, first of all, I'm going to go through my favorite top 5 dungeons, and not in terms of fun necessarily, because I like the thrill of the hunt. I like to hunt really rare items in dungeons like Uldaman. That's so far down on the top list for transmog, but there's that possibility of getting super items, so it's fun. Now, these dungeons that I'm going to list is also like amongst my favorite dungeons because they're both fun and they give a lot of good loot. So I've made videos on every single dungeon transmog farm that I do in details, like showing the route, talking a bit about all the items that you should look after and so on. So I'm going to link those down below in the description so you guys can check those out if you haven't run the dungeon before. And if you want to, like, while you're doing the dungeon, you want to look at the items that you should keep and whatnot. So the first one on this list is this one right here. And that is why you should farm Black Fathom Deeps. It doesn't come as a surprise to a lot of people because Black Fathom Deeps has an insanely impressive loot table when it comes to both green items and also unique blue items. Blue items that can only drop inside this dungeon and none other place, right? It's an absolutely great dungeon to run if you want to fill up the auction house. So in the description of this one, you can see it drops world drop greens like Hulking set, Wrangler set, Ritual set, Robust set, Buccaneer set, Mystics Wrap, Pagan set. The list goes on and on and on. And then I've also listed the specific blue items that can only drop inside this dungeon, like Martyr's Chain, Ring of Precision, Staff of the Blesser, Tree Bark Jacket, Doomspike, and so on and so on. So BFD, Really, really good dungeon. And keep in mind before I continue on this list that the prices are going to vary from realm to realm. So if you have 10 people on your realm constantly running BFD and undercutting each other, it's not going to perform that well in your realm. But overall, the average prices on EU and NA, this is a very solid dungeon. The only thing that kind of sucks about this one is the fact that the world drop epics horrible. Like BFD and epics, they don't go hand in hand, right? So the next one on the list is RFK. Now, RFK is in the same area as RFD, and a lot of people think they have the same loot table, but they don't share anything. Like, they're two completely different loot tables. So it also has a bunch of unique items, blue items that you can farm from RFK. And then it has a ton of fast-selling, very in-demand transmog sets as well. It's a great dungeon, but once again, world drop epics? Nah, not really. And then next on the list, you have LBRS. I absolutely love this dungeon, and it fixes the issues with no epics. So LBRS can drop really good world drop epics like Destiny, Skullflame Shield, Cloud Keepers, like you can see in this thumbnail. And it also drops some dungeon-specific plans like Corium Champion and Reaper. And then it has very interesting green sets that tends to sell, like the Ebonhold set, Imbued Plate set, Alabaster set, and so on. And a pro tip on these, even if, let's say you get the Alabaster set, let's say that just the chest and the legs have any real value on your realm, you should still post the bracers, the boots, the waist, like all of it, because usually when you sell these items, people tend to buy the entire set. So always sell even the low value items that is a part of a popular set. LBRS, one of my favorite dungeons of all time, and that's probably because I received 1 billion Skullflame shields from this dungeon. Super fun dungeon runs. It is a fairly long dungeon, so you actually do need to have a speed set if you want to be able to do 10 runs in an hour, right? But then you have RFK and you got BFD, which is super easy to do 10 runs in an hour. So after LBRS, we have Scarlet Monastery. I love this place. This was, I battled with myself if I should add this to the list. A lot of people would disagree. But I just really like the loot table because, yes, it does have the Archon chest piece, the Tainted Pears, the Fight Clubs, the Scarlet Boots, like these super items that are insane in value, literally worth millions, some of them. But besides from that, even if you take those away, it has a lot of good green items as well. Like, it can drop you the Silver Tread, the Buccaneer's Vest, and the loot table is so messed up that a low-level dungeon like Scarlet Monastery can drop things like the Cloudkeeper leg plates, the Skullflame Shield, the Destiny. It doesn't make any sense, but it can drop there. And it's also the shortest dungeon on this top 5 list. Love the farm. It's a great farm. And then it was between RFD and Gnomer. RFD and Gnomer is similar in a lot of ways because it really depends on your realm. On some realms, you can sell the RFD blue items for a lot of gold. And then the Gnomer blues aren't really of that much value because it's being over-farmed. And then the other way around, right? So I love both dungeons. Gnomer has a shit ton of weapons, blue, unique to the dungeon that sells. And it can also drop the Buccaneer's Vest and Silver Tread. And I really like that it drops a lot of high in-demand schematics. Like, that's really cool to me. And then, yeah, the epics, not that much to brag about. But it's the same thing with RFD. Epics, not that much to brag about. It has a lot of dungeon-specific blue items. But the green items you'll get more green armor pieces that you can mog from RFD, but there's no schematics, right? And the blue items from Gnomer tends to be worth more than the RFD blues. So that is my top 5 most efficient dungeons, right? So if you guys got any questions whatsoever, or like an idea on a new topic that I should do in this type of format of a video, then please let me know down below in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch those videos. And you can always check out the 0 to 10 million gold guide if you haven't bought it yet. Link down below. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And I will see every single one of you guys, hopefully, back in for tomorrow's video. But until then, don't do anything stupid. And I'll see you. Bye-bye. Have a good one.